Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome to Recorded Conversations, episode 10, with Thiv and Alfie. And we do have a spectator here, Katya, so you may see her for the episode.
They can't see you.
No, they can't see you now.
No.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But these are dear friends from Francis.
First year.
First year of uni. Well, it's a pleasure having you guys here.
Pleasure to be on.
Want to introduce yourself a bit more? Or Thiv and Alfie is good.
I know. We've been together for 2 years now. Too long.
Domestic violence and that? No?
Just a little bit.
Chill.
Enough.
Mm-hmm. I'm Alfie, and this is Thiv. And we were flatmates in first year, and second year decided to keep that going.
And then you left.
And then I left. And then good. Yeah. I missed you.
I don't think Thiv misses you. Like,
I think it's alright. Yeah.
Freedom. Yeah, that's why I moved one flat below.
close enough, but far enough, you know.
Yeah.
Keep his memory in my mind.
Yes. You do econ,
Yeah.
and you do ESPS. You still do ESPS in.
Yeah, but no one knows what that is. So.
But like,
For the
still
sake of
true.
the podcast, I do history and Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
But-
been in Colombia for the past 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Middle of August, right? Yeah. Jesus. Now he's got a massive break, the summer break for them.
Literally, yeah.
Big
My
balls for something.
Yeah, my man decided, you know what? Summer here, I'm gonna go to England where it's like 0 degrees, solid.
You know what? It doesn't feel like Christmas when it's warm. It's funny, like the Christmas decorations in Colombia, it's all snow themed. Like there's snowmen and shit like that.
Yeah, to be honest, I've had I missed the Christmas, but I had the New Year's in Australia, and it was quite weird, like being on the beach drinking, like going to the sea, like what the hell, man?
It
Doesn't
just
sound too
kills.
bad.
It kills it. It kills the like Christmas period. It's supposed to be like cold and snow,
Yeah, but you don't get
fireplace.
snow here, so for me, I was like, I'd rather have this. Well, like, it was a great New Year's night, but
That's why I have a Christmas spirit in Sri Lanka. Like, I didn't care about Christmas before coming.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like way too hard and stuff.
It's just like an excuse to not be depressed in the winter. It's like,
Yeah.
something like
Literally.
the darkest point of winter.
Just imagine if you have to go through December and January with like no celebrations, no holidays, just work.
It's like everyone hates January. 'Cause it's Christmas over. I'm thankful I got my birthday in January.
Same.
I mean, everyone's depressed for my birthday, but you can enjoy it.
wow, your birthday was the starting point of one of my relationships.
That's why I had the party. Actually.
Yeah, so thank you. But no, I've got my brother's is on the 16th, my mom's on 29th, his is on 25th.
25th, yeah.
January.
Good.
Yeah,
Even though I'm never in,
Wow.
I'm never in
he's
London.
never here. First year we got here, like me and Aggie baked him a fucking brownie, a wheat brownie. My mom wasn't here. Second time around we got a shisha there.
Yeah.
There.
Haven't used it yet
Yeah,
this year.
exactly. But I need to think about his present this year.
But I'm not gonna be here, so
Oh, so is that confirmed?
yeah. I'm flying 22nd, and I'm coming back on the 2nd of February.
What do you
Yeah,
want?
this is gonna be a
I'm going on a
this
ski
house.
trip with friends.
Okay, that doesn't sound too bad.
Me and you need to talk about going to Madrid
Yeah.
this term because I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go too. I have so many people to see there.
You can talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Why don't we? Let's look at flights. Let's see what to.
Neo, look it up.
Get your
Skyscanner.
calendars out. Let's
We have a
go.
common friend, Charlotte.
Oh,
We have now we have a common friend.
Shout
as
out.
well.
We used to have 2 common friends there. Our spectator, who's
Yeah.
no longer living in Madrid.
Well, come back to Madrid. We'll see you there.
We can
yeah.
meet it in Madrid.
Yeah, I've got Victor's gonna be there from next year. Well, from term
Yeah,
two.
yeah, I know. So yeah,
But-
we will go to Madrid.
Anyways, back to you guys.
Yeah.
Finally.
Finally. So, well, let's start with you. How's Colombia, man?
Yeah, let's talk a bit about that.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't very apprehensive about going. I don't know. I had a feeling it would be
Okay.
fun.
It's been a long day, man. The fuck does apprehensive mean?
Like worried.
What?
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Long words, big words. I'm an immigrant. I don't know.
I'm Spanish.
We don't talk about your English.
My English is perfect.
But yeah, Karen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mm.
We're worried
Colombia.
about it.
No, but it's been good. I mean, yeah, I think the quality of life you can have there, obviously it depends, you know, it's if you have savings, which I did from, you know, working in the bar in pounds, then you can live a very nice life there. You know, I pay a quarter of the rent in Colombia than I do in London. You know, it costs £1.50 for a big meal for lunch, or like 80p for a bottle of beer. So
Yeah, we won't reveal the figures, but technically you're paying 10 times less a month than me and you are.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
really?
And you've seen this shithole place, right?
You know, it's got its.
It's
charm.
good. It's good. Like the thing is, we made it cozy and
Yeah.
comfortable and everything. But man, like I go into the toilet and I'm like, I don't want to have anyone over here anymore. Like this shit needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Free.
Like, we did a really good job. Like
Yeah.
the first time I saw this flat, I was like, "Oh God, oh God."
Yeah.
We'll take it.
No. The thing is, I came
Ooh,
here
desperate.
on the 5th. My brother was here. There is like shitty data, so I'm trying to contact him to get like the contract signed, to get the keys and everything. Nothing's working. I'm like starting to panic because this flat's not looking that good, you know. Shit, fuck.
I mean, you found this late, didn't you?
Yeah, we had plans all summer, and so many plans, and it just all fell through. And then like it got to September, me and you said, you know what, fuck it, fuck everyone. Me and him can get a flat.
Yeah.
We started 1st of September, 3rd of September we found this. 5th of September I was back in the country. We signed the contract.
On the 6th. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we were looking for a flat last year, it was pretty fucking easy. I mean, this was the flat you've been to a flat, but it was our first choice. I mean, it's the first one we saw, and we actually negotiated a 10-month contract and lower rent.
We didn't see the flat ourselves, did we?
No,
Just got Luis to see it.
we weren't even in the country.
That's a bit risky.
But I heard from everyone. I mean, I wasn't here, but like that it was a lot harder finding a flat.
Yeah, you can go through, Katya. You can walk through. Don't worry about
It's okay. It's okay. People
it. Go
can see
through.
you.
They
You
no,
didn't
we
see
have
which
not
one.
seen
You
your
know-
phone.
The microphone
go.
actually captured that.
Yeah, they can see your head in the camera shot, just scrolling. But yeah. From what I heard from the agents in the summer, that like we all were looking for,
complete bullshit.
like they said there was 6 like groups looking for a flat. The previous summer, this year was 36 groups per every flat.
Never trust a word an agent says.
Yeah,
True,
no, but
very
the thing
true.
is, yes, we won't. She's got one. If she actually watched the podcast, I gave all of you a shout out
I
because
heard
Yeah.
she passively aggressively messaged me about it, and I gave her a shout out.
When did we?
Vincer episode,
Yeah, true.
yeah, because we brought you up on it. That the whole 5 a.m. story of you not inhaling Mazood but exhaling it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna like tell a great story or something.
It was a great
my lowest
story.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. when
You have
all
so
the
many
weed
stories and
came
we
out.
chose
Yeah.
that
The thing is, somehow Vince had the fucking papers, used the fucking stick as a poker.
He
Brilliant,
fixed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
he
fixed
did
it.
surgery on the joint. It's impressive.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad to not be in the UK. I mean, it sounds like just everything's expensive.
Yeah, but when are you coming back?
Next summer sometime.
Yeah, but when next summer? Because you may be in big
Making
trouble.
plans already.
No. Like you
Give me a
may
date.
you may be in big trouble. Like if you're looking for a flat for next year.
Oh yeah, be careful with that. Yeah.
I'll be here for that.
Yeah, Thiv will find us.
Are you doing 4 years?
No, I'm doing 3 years. So I'm graduating in July, but I'm either going to do a master's or get a job in London.
Well, yeah.
So hopefully stay in London. And we
What
can
masters
get
do you
a
want to
job.
plan? Are you planning to go into?
Mate, something to do with finance. Because
Boo,
I know.
How surprising!
But also, yeah,
I mean, that's what's going to get me a job.
So, when's our first holiday? When you pay?
looking forward to Christmas next year.
You know what? All the jobs that I applied for, I got to study while I'm working. Like I've got to study. For
That's
like,
good.
qualification. Which is good because like you come out of it with an actual job at the end of the program.
Yeah.
And a qualification, but it also means it's gonna be worse than university.
That's true.
Intense, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
And I've spoken to like the graduates who are doing these programs, and they're like, "It's not enough you study in a weekend. You got to come back and do work to make sure you're on top." of your shit."
Jeez.
That sounds
Terrible
terrible.
finance, like banks or
Not necessarily
Investor
banks,
firms?
mostly financial services. So that it's not like investment banking where you advise on like mergers and acquisitions. It's just like whether it's auditing or like due diligence, you basically work in the background of
Mm-hmm.
the deals.
Sorcery.
Yeah, it's a lot less responsibility. compared to
a lot
that.
more, you know, the small script at the bottom of the page, like signing your.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah,
My man's gonna pull some shady stuff, 100%.
What's the starting salary like in that kind of thing?
I think the starting salary is around probably 30 grand for the year, and that's so
Okay.
that's a 3-year program, and then it obviously increases as the years go by.
But they're also paying for your education.
Yeah, so you pay nothing for your education. So you
Okay,
get 30 grand a year. You work and you study, and that increases every year.
that's pretty good.
That's not
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the average salary I think is 24K around that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is that 30K with or without taxes?
that's without taxes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'll take any.
I'll take money.
He doesn't pay
I'll take money. I'll take money.
I don't need to pay. I don't
Around
need to pay
20K then.
taxes.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, if UK immigration's listening, he pays taxes.
Yeah.
Let him stay.
What are taxes?
But have you got a job yet, or you're still
No,
looking?
so I'm still applying for things, but I've had a few interviews. One was terrible, where I kind of just like flunked it.
As
But
in, you fucked it, or they kind of fucked it for you?
no, I flunked it. Yeah, I messed up. I know where I messed up as well, which is like.
Fair enough.
But there's another one I did where it was for RSM, and they made me do this like virtual assessment center, and it had like genuinely 8 tasks in it. It all involved like presentation, paired exercises,
God.
and just like it's
That's
sort of
what-
like variations of the same thing they're trying to get at, and just like general soft skills that they're trying to identify. And then afterwards, like a strengths-based interview where they ask you like 10 questions, and there's not even an informal, which is like question answer.
Jesus. See, that's why I
after that,
don't
I
apply
thought-
for
I
jobs.
generally thought that was the final stage, and I got a call the other day saying that I passed the stage, but then there's
Yeah.
another stage.
My
at the
Oh
man.
end.
God.
No, but that's not the end. There's a
I
final.
know,
There's
but
more.
still,
that.
Boss
I know.
level.
Mate, I spent way too long preparing for it, and spent way too long on the day while I have exams the following day, doing all of this. And I've got
That's
another
why
one to go for.
I try to get you out whenever I can, because I know.
Yeah, that's
like,
very sweet.
Keep him happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're gone. Like
Get him off
my
the
man's
server.
gonna be in his house 24/7 or studying
Smoking
somewhere.
weed, watching the office.
Yeah, facts.
That's not bringing it up.
And then cut.
Yeah. Citibank's not gonna see them.
Yeah.
Fuck City Bank.
Yes, fuck Citibank.
I think out of like our mutual friends, it's only Vincent who's got a job right now.
Wait, he's
Yeah.
working right now?
No,
You
no,
got a
no,
job
no.
for
He got
next
a,
year?
yeah, he got a job for next year. This is the
Was that
shittiest
the
thing.
interview he came
Like, you know,
the other
when
day?
you know when you came back from the ball and sat down.
He
The
was
reason-
he was wearing a suit.
No, I don't know why that was the reason. I think he had something else, but he found out the day
He
before.
said he was coming back from an interview.
Yeah, I think it was just another interview, but he found out the day before.
Oh.
I have no idea. It's a consulting firm, one of the big ones, but not
Good
the
money.
top 4, top 5 big ones.
Okay.
And he said,
Jeez.
I got interviewed by a guy with 2 masters and a PhD, and I was like, I'm just gonna finish a bachelor's. The fuck am I doing
With
here?
the interviewer was like, by the way, I have 2 masters and a PhD.
Or
Sounds like,
wow.
Yeah, that's like red flag.
Either he researched it or something, or he got brought up. I don't actually know.
Massive
like, that's
red
what-
flag.
I wouldn't want to work.
No,
as
but he
By the way, here's my academic history.
Yeah.
he said like
Just so you feel very pressured for the rest of the interview.
He's
exactly.
got something to prove.
He said small like consulting firms didn't accept him, and this is like a big one. He did not. He did
That's
not
actually
think.
true. You know, that happens a lot. I think smaller firms have more rigorous.
Yeah,
application
absolutely, yeah.
processes.
Yeah, but like they can't fuck it up. They can't.
They
get
have
the
less
guy-
employees, so they gotta choose the good
Yeah,
ones.
the good
Yeah.
ones they can-
True.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vince.
Okay.
But
And I think small companies focus more on soft skills, like
Yeah.
the way you present yourself, rather than big companies. Big companies
Yeah.
just want to know like a general idea of you, and then know that you have the technical side.
oh, I can smack that interview out of the window if it's about presenting myself.
Present.
But you don't understand. Like, I don't think I've ever like properly prepared for an interview. I just waffle.
And does that work for you?
Yeah, it worked. Couple of times.
You're
I haven't exactly applied
I
for
think-
any other jobs. I lied, but like
What
the interviews.
interviews
are-
were
This is
these?
wrong advice.
Oh, first of all, like,
Don't take his advice. Prepare for interviews.
yeah, you can't talk, my man. You do
I
nothing.
don't go to interviews.
But
You
I
never
don't know.
apply, you never fail.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I didn't
That's
get
my
into-
philosophy.
That's a good one.
If I don't apply,
I don't think I go into Red Bull F1. I haven't heard from Williams
you
yet.
you haven't had a no.
I've had 2 out of the 3 say no for Red Bull. The third one just hasn't come back ever.
Okay.
We can apply to multiple jobs in the same company.
There's a lot of positions open.
For like the F1 team.
Yeah. And then I applied also for Williams. Me and Martin haven't heard anything from that yet.
Hmm.
But-
I mean, the idea of consulting depresses me a little bit.
Right.
Oh, it depresses
Same.
Vince as well.
God.
He's
I mean,
like,
you get good money for it.
A and B, he,
At
like-
what cost?
Yeah, all your
Only
time.
having-
like a
Happiness.
like
It's
fully
kind of
near. If
bullshit,
me and you,
yeah, it's-
like, if you stay in London next year, and me and you live together again, like, we're gonna have this, and Vince is gonna be over every evening, just like,
Literally
"Guys,
after
let me
work,
back
he's
on."
gonna come.
Let me race. Let me chill.
Bro, if he's being a consultant, he's not going to come back in the evening.
True.
Yeah, true.
I know someone
He's
who's
gonna
been
come
in
back at
London.
1 a.m.
You get your weekends at least. Like that's why it's better than finance.
Yeah,
is usually
finance.
weekends as well.
Well, Charlotte,
well,
yeah.
that's not true.
Technically. Depends.
No, it
That's
depends
true.
on
I
the
think that's
company, but
investment.
like Charlotte, Aggie's friend, the one we had last time round, she had an internship during the summer. She said she like for 8 weeks it was literally most of the weekends were on, and she worked from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. Went home, got into bed like 4:30, woke up 6:30, 7, went back into Canary Wharf.
What happened to workers' rights? They just don't exist in
Thatcher.
London. In London, they don't exist.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're seeing a change in that though. Like the whole winter of discontent, the strikes all across. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
finally-
when was the last time the strikes actually helped? Like, do they actually do something?
I mean that.
I mean,
I'm from disrupt
Practice
everyone
as no.
I
else.
mean, for example, for the rail strikes, the first wave back in I think it was June or something. The government came back. No, the companies came back and they were like, okay, yeah, maybe we'll give you a little more money. It wasn't
Maybe.
enough. It was insignificant, but you know, something. But I think like the idea of a Katja, what are you doing? And she's distracting me.
Yeah. What
Trying
do you
to say
say?
something. What are you saying? Shout it.
The ticket prices for the trains have gone up since, so I don't know if that's going towards the workers' salaries, but it's definitely worse for people who take the train.
Okay.
I don't think it has gone to workers' salaries. I think that's probably just
Yeah,
profit.
He's definitely not going
It never goes to the
That's
workers'
because- that's
It's more
salary.
difficult for me.
Oh, poor Katja.
That's because
But I-
performing for so long.
The what? TFL?
Yeah, in terms
It's
of
not
like
even-
revenue.
TFL striking. Has there been tube strike recently?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
several. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
really?
there are
Yeah,
more
it's been a
national
few,
rail
yeah.
strikes.
National
Yeah,
railways.
like
That's what I mean.
fully. Well, since England got out of the World Cup, it's strike, 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 strike,
Everyone's too
strike.
depressed.
If
It's
only
like,
they had
let's
that during the
strike.
World Cup, maybe we would have won something.
Yeah, beg Argentina wins. I really beg.
I think
Right.
I think like looking at the UCU, they're now talking about a permanent strike, like the professors, the lecturers. I think that's the best way to do it. Because if you're doing all these small strikes that are ineffective, you're still losing, 3 days of wages.
Of course, yeah.
Several times a year. Why don't you just go, not show up? A permanent strike's just, well, what do you think it is? Like, you just go on strike indefinitely until
Yeah,
they change.
until you get what you want.
So basically, what you're telling me is, me, Thiv, well, Nia doesn't care. He doesn't study. Me and you are fucked because they're not gonna teach us. And then when it gets to the exam season, that exam is gonna be
How much do you
full.
feel like you're learning from your teachers?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fully nothing.
So
Like
what does it really affect students that much? I
it
feel like
will.
most
It
students are
will
learning
because they
shit on
weren't
their
really.
own.
The thing is, I
It
don't even have
doesn't- it
lectures.
I don't go to class.
Yeah, I don't have lectures. I only have online lectures. But when strikes affect them releasing it as well, like if there is no material to be
Sure.
released, what am I gonna learn? And then they're gonna try and cram in that material in what, 4 weeks less,
Hmm.
and then give us the same exam.
I mean, the thing is, you're thinking of getting good grades, right? Like you're working within the prism of the university system. But the whole point is that the entire system's not just fucking over professors, it's fucking you over as well.
True.
Because like, first of all, like in 2012, the tuition fee cap was £3,000. Now
Yeah.
we're paying £9,000.
No,
the
it's
victims
going
are the
up.
same
It's
thing
going
as
up.
the
It's going up.
It's going
from
up.
It's going up from September. It's 12 or 13K.
Jesus.
Yeah. My
No.
so
I
my
mean, the
my
international
mid-
ones. Like,
yeah, my middle brother just got in, and he's still paying 9.25.
Yeah.
And my youngest one is gonna go in next year, and I think it's rising from that year.
How much?
So I think by 3 more K, like 12 or 13K.
They've raised the cap.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Not know about that.
But
See,
the
it's
raise
fine.
was 2006, 7. No, you said 12.
In 2012, it went up to 3,000, but before that, it was zero. I can't. Went up to 12,000. I don't know when they've actually.
No, it went up to 9,000 from 3,000 because
Yeah.
3,000 before that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when
Because
they did it to 3,000.
There's no free university in the UK.
Yeah.
It doesn't
No
exist.
state universities, no.
There's nothing for free.
No. I've checked this.
That's
because,
the thing, it's nothing for free.
Because like when I was, you can walk, Katya. Just
Well, I think
walk.
Scottish can study it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, to the
Scotland,
Scot,
that's
but
true,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Scotland,
And Wales
England.
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like when I was checking for like because I wanted to go to America. In America, they have a lot of those, college unis, state unis, that you go in there. Shit education. No one's gonna care about your degree. Still for free. Yeah, there's nothing like
thing
that.
is,
You
But
should
I
have to
don't
pay.
think the US system is something we should aspire to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at least you get a higher education in a way, no?
But in Spain, like some of the best universities in the country are like public and are like free. Or like free, like you pay like around between 300 to 500 for like the whole year, and like small like taxes you have to pay.
What, cents or euros or what?
Euros.
Cents. 3 to 5 quid.
Yeah, but like if you don't have any money, you don't have to pay anything. Like it's
I think you can give
But-
like that's one thing England's good on bursaries, like school wise. I think uni wise as well. I had a couple of friends in my school. I went to posh private school,
yeah.
and I had several friends who were on bursaries, had like scholarships and stuff like that.
Yeah, scholarships is fine, but like
But it's like you shouldn't. No one should need a scholarship. It shouldn't.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have to pay. Like
That's
education
true.
should be a
That's
basic
true.
good, like it is
That's
in
true.
Germany or Denmark. Denmark, they fucking pay you to go to university.
yeah, literally.
That's true.
Like,
In
system is so
Russia, all schools are state, and like you don't pay anything. And then for universities, well, if you're clever enough, you can get into the free spots. If not, of course you can pay, and it just depends if you get in through the rounds or not. And then
Just a bit of corruption, because that's like the Russian
it's
stuff.
not even corruption.
Yeah.
It's like it's literally how the system is set up. That there
Yeah.
is out of the say Z amount of seats, X are for free. Y are the extra people that it's not like it's not an extraordinary amount that you have to pay. It's something quite small, and you will still get in, but it's a fee.
The thing with
Yeah.
free universities though, because like in Spain, for those universities that are free, how do students get into it? Do they have to meet certain requirements?
So basically, in Spain, I don't really like how it works, but how it works is that we have one final exam. We get like a grade from that, and then
So everybody sits the same exam.
yeah, everyone in Spain sits this exact same exam. Well, almost the same exam. Different regions have like languages and stuff like that. But yeah, so you apply to whichever course in whichever universities. You can do, I think, 5 different courses you can apply to, and then it just goes from like number of people that have applied, the top grades to the like.
So it's just
worst
like
grades.
your ranking in the whole country
Yeah.
gets you into it.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's the thing. Again, it kind of limits.
It's a bit fucked because
trade-off,
you have like hundreds of people doing like medicine and stuff like that just because they have like this insanely high grades, not because they want to be doctors. So yeah, that's a bit fucked. But yeah,
But at least in Spain, there's a problem with like, not having enough doctors. Like, I guess that way it kind of gets it sorted that you have enough doctors, enough
we
lawyers.
don't.
No, you
We
just
still
have
don't.
people that don't want to work. That's a different problem.
Well, yeah, that is a different problem. That's true. We do have enough doctors. They just don't work enough.
My man goes to siesta too. Fuck it, I'm not going back to
Nah,
work.
it's not like that, but like, yeah, there is a lot of like,
But people live longer still.
yeah.
Wait, why do they not want to work as much?
Who wants
Like,
to
I
work?
feel like
No, Christ.
What is wrong with you?
I'm trying to get to the point, babe.
no, we
Yeah.
just have a very like relaxed and comfortable like culture, which is
Right,
great
yeah.
for many things, but when it comes to like productivity, it's quite
Yeah.
bad. But yeah,
But it kind of goes back to what we was talking about earlier. Like, the London pace of life is so quick and so high, and it's so stressful.
yeah.
And honestly, like, at many points, it feels like, it's not just crisis after crisis after crisis, like 3 different things I have to deal with at a certain single time. And it's just, you think you've covered 1 or 2, nah. It's something else is going to come up.
Yeah.
Always.
That was the biggest culture shock for me. Is people take longer to do things. And I'm very much like, I want,
Yeah.
you're used to quick service.
It's not like immediate.
You
no, like,
order a coffee and it comes.
like,
you order the
chill.
bill, it comes. And it's like, yeah, the deal with
you'll
the
get
thing.
it.
Yeah. You arrange to meet someone at a certain time, they come an hour later. It's normal. It's a different pace of life.
Welcome to Ben Schmidt's girl stuff.
To what?
To Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben, yeah,
What?
Fuck knows, man.
But he's German, so he's
Like-
supposed to be spot on
Like,
time.
He's the one who watches actually like every episode, which mad respect to him. But like, sorry
Here's
for
the
this. Sorry for this, but my man, like, we've told you so many times to come like an hour early, and you show up around the same time as
No,
everyone.
but
else
I
shows.
understand. Like, if I'm back in Spain, I'm an hour late, but everyone else is. So
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
meet at 6. You're not meeting at 6. You're meeting at 7.
Yeah, true. But I would like he's got better at it. Like Francis time. Oh my lord,
Oh,
he wouldn't turn up for like a couple of hours.
Who?
No, Ben.
Oh.
But like now, sometimes you like the first one here, and I'm like, okay.
But Francis, you guys were living in the same building.
No, we weren't.
I mean, he was
lived in
Langton.
Langton,
He was
which is
Langton.
a minute away. It's a minute away.
Look, in COVID times, that felt like 100 kilometers.
Exactly.
Different country.
But yeah, that was the most surprising thing. We tell him 8 o'clock, man rocks up 9:30.
Horrible.
Everyone's pissed out of their mind, and he's sober. What are we doing?
Yeah,
Good times.
good times.
The amount of times we had to deal with her in Francis. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
lord. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
You'll be back on the podcast. Don't worry. We'll get into
Yeah,
that.
we'll get her on the
Invite her.
podcast in
Yeah.
February, I think.
Well, whenever she's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to Brazil.
Brazil. Brazil.
Okay. So you wanted to talk about politics a little bit,
Always.
and I want to talk about politics too. just
Where we starting?
I wanna cover the whole of South American politics right now.
Oh yeah, I want to actually.
Obviously, let's start with like Colombia because
It's like
you're
a
like
big
more
place.
familiar with that.
Colombian politics.
Yeah, what's the state of Colombian politics right now?
Well, this year there was an election.
Yeah.
Well, two elections for the Congress and for the president. And the president is Gustavo Petro. And
Yeah.
he's a former guerrilla, left wing from the M19 group. And he's the first left wing president that Colombia's ever had. So his platform's very much based on, climate change, land reform,
Mm-hmm.
drug reform. So there's a lot of optimism. There's a lot of hope. I mean, he's a polemic figure. A lot of people don't like him because
Yeah.
there's a lot of conservatism in Colombia, of course,
Mm-hmm.
especially among kind of the political elite. The wealthy people are worried that this left is going to come and take our money, take our land, etc.
Yeah.
But he's working on it. I mean, he's not super extreme. He hasn't done anything that
Yeah.
kind of crazy, but
How's
it's
the-
progress? It's symbolic progress.
How's the like cartels, like drug cartels and like power thing going? Like,
Oh,
are they
we-
still?
Very quickly, we're going to the right.
No, yeah,
topic.
it's like it's obviously
I'd just say
big in the
like
history of
an
Colombia.
interesting thing. So the idea of a cartel is actually predicated on a falsehood. Like cartel, it's an economic term.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
basically
No.
Yeah.
collusion. It's an oligarchy.
Yeah.
It colludes. To
I did.
set
I did
prices.
econ in school. I know
Yeah,
this.
exactly. And that actually doesn't accurately describe the
Yeah, it's a
drug
lot more
trafficking
political.
organizations. It's mostly sort of smaller family units that tend to have alliances, but they're weak. And
Yeah.
since the Medellin cartel and then the Cali cartel in the 90s, since they were taken down,
Okay.
there's now several hundred kind of smaller drug
Yeah.
trafficking organizations. So in Colombia, whereas Mexico, there are larger organizations.
Yeah.
In Colombia, it still exports about 80% of the world's cocaine. It's huge. The drug business is still massive, and it's linked to violence because the guerrilla groups control a lot of guerrillas and paramilitaries, I should say, which are kind of right wing supported.
Yeah.
By the government. Well, not anymore, but anyway.
Well, like, isn't like definition of guerrilla someone who tries to fight the power? So they're trying to fight
Yeah,
the
but they were
power,
like
and they're
mostly like
sponsoring.
left wing.
So they're sponsoring themselves with the drug money.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
now, because in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they were funded a lot by, the Soviet Union or, foreign kind of interests.
Mhm.
And then in the 90s, they transitioned more into having a stake. So whether it was charging people who grow coca or marijuana, charging them for protection from people who, trying to take their land or whatever.
Yeah.
They started taxing it, and now they've taken a more direct role in it. But there is, in 2016, there was this huge peace agreement between the government and the FARC, which was the largest and the oldest guerrilla movement. And, that was huge progress. And so they're moving towards peace. And Petro started negotiations now with the ELN, which is the kind of second oldest guerrilla movement. So
Mhm.
peace, Colombia is the country with the most displaced people, internally displaced people in the whole world. And its internal conflict is just horrible. 200,000 plus people died in it. So it's good, it's compared to where it's been in the past. It's
Progress.
a lot of progress, for sure. But,
Mm.
big problems with drugs still.
Of
Definitely.
course, yeah.
Not that you would complain, right?
I think I would complain. People are being killed over drugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes you think, like, when you buy, I don't know, whatever, weed or coke or whatever it is in the UK, like, you got to consider, okay, this is fueling violence in other countries.
Of
Like,
course,
it's-
yeah.
To get to this point, the reason it's so expensive is because of the risks and it's illegal. But yeah, it's really. I mean, this is what I studied.
I won't
as a
lie. I
journalist,
just want to enjoy the moment at points. I don't think about that shit, but sure.
That's
But
that's the problem.
Now that you've lived in Colombia, what would you think about the legalization of drugs, like hard drugs?
Well, so in Colombia, it's legal to possess up to a gram of cocaine
Mm-hmm.
and up to 15 grams of weed. I think
My man's the boss man on the block.
Studying drug history, which is kind of what I study,
Yeah.
criminalization is what has led to the violence around the drug trade.
Yeah, I agree.
Before the US decided to make cocaine illegal, it was you got it in a pharmacy, you know.
Yeah.
The biggest users of heroin in the US in the 1920s were elderly women.
Yeah.
So it was like moral panic that leads to criminalization, and with the high risk of criminalization, that creates violence and also drives up the price, which also incentivizes people to use violence. So yeah, criminalization caused the violence around drug trade, but legalizing is not simple, you know. I think ideally you have a global legal market for cocaine because people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
US,
That's the thing. Like, people are gonna do it.
Yeah, the US is the biggest consumer of coke, and they're also the ones who are driving the war on
But
drugs.
the thing is, like, there's a, I don't know if you can back me up on this, but like, there's a strong belief that the only reason that the US survived the 2008 economic crisis is because of the drug money. Because there
Whoa.
was so much cash in that market that was like kind of allowed to get back into the system. And that's the only reason the banks and a lot of places
Well,
survived, apart
yeah.
from the survival programs that
Obviously, like,
government put.
drug money in like pretty much every country is a big part of the underground economy. Like,
Well, I
it
don't know
does
how
make
much
an
the-
impact.
I don't know if the government got to touch that sort of money in the US, especially when it was not legalized.
No, yeah, like the money doesn't get to the government, but like it keeps moving around the less wealthy people usually.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's like quite a gross oversimplification of the whole 2008 crisis. Like, the US survived. What do you mean survived? You know, like a lot of people died because of that. A lot of people lost their homes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The banks survived. The financial system survived.
like the economy survived.
The
you know,
economy
that-
survived, but you know, economies don't just collapse. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe in some countries they do, but this is America. You know, the whole global economy is underpinned by the dollar. It's not going to collapse.
Yeah.
right
it's
now,
not
right
really
now at
hard.
least. But it is like drug money is huge. I mean, especially in a drug producer like, for example, Colombia is the only country in Latin America that in the 80s avoided the debt crisis because they had huge inflows of dollars into their central bank. They created what they called a left window into the central bank where they didn't ask questions about deposits of
Yeah.
dollars, and it was mostly from drug money, and that kept them afloat. So yeah, it's huge. I mean,
Well,
it's huge
that
business.
and I've learned recently that England is, I think, the hugest. Oh, well, England is the biggest exporter of medical and
Legal marijuana.
Yeah, legal marijuana in the whole Europe or even in the world.
Yeah,
And
in the world, I think.
yeah, and
insane.
like, well, the question mark is posed like, well, if that's the case, like, what's the problem then?
Yeah, how is it still criminalized?
Yeah.
How
Oh,
people
the
go
whole,
into
the whole,
jail for
the whole
selling
fucking. I don't know if you heard about the WNBA player, Brittany
it.
Griner,
Yeah. Mm.
for the merchant of death. Are you mad? Half of the country is still like criminal. Like,
It's politics, man.
yeah,
It's
exactly. I understand.
democracy.
Half of the like half of the
Yes.
prisoners, or I think it's not half. It's either a fifth or a third of like the population in prisons in US relate on drug related crimes. And this woman gets released out of a Russian prison for a merchant of death, like a arms dealer that has a nickname of that. It's
Jesus.
It's an interesting one. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
it feels like, you know, back in the cold, like it's not, it doesn't even feel like back in the Cold War, because back then it was equal. This is like you get a WNBA player,
Mm-hmm.
WNBA, which by the fact loses 12 million in revenue a year. Like they don't have a revenue, it's like minus 12 million. And my man who supports, like he supplies half of the world with arms. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I You know.
Guys, edit this out, but you can say more funny things. I haven't had to laugh this whole time. What I do is,
You do know what a podcast is, right? You do know what a podcast is.
Be funny. Do jokes. Do a joke.
That's why we went to the pub earlier.
I have a good joke actually.
What's your joke?
wait, let's cut into Alfie's joke.
No, we can't just
Alfie, please tell us a joke. Come on.
Come on, no pressure.
For Katya, okay. Have you heard the one about the 3 wells?
No.
No.
The 3 wells. You haven't heard
No.
that one.
Oh God, here we go.
Well.
Ah. Wait. Ah, he hasn't heard about Andrew Tate. I want to use this one on him.
Oh god.
Okay, Alfie, have you seen the clown that hides from gay men?
Oh God.
This is like a middle school joke.
Exactly.
Tate,
Right.
Yeah, he knows
what it is. Exactly. But the thing is, I won't lie, I've caught my middle brother on it. I've caught a couple of people on it.
Ha, you're gay. Gotcha. Like,
Well,
what?
like-
What? I'm gay. It doesn't work.
You picked the wrong audience.
Yeah. Ask anyone else.
See,
You say
see?
no, and then you're gay because he hides from gay
Have you
people.
seen the clown that hides from gay men? That explains a lot.
Elaborate.
No.
Jesus.
Has anyone ever laughed at that?
Jesus.
I live
No,
with
I
him.
think that's
I'm
because
sorry.
it's gay people.
He hides from gay people.
Hides
He hides from gay people. Why
It's
does
just oh
So if
God.
you haven't
my
seen
God.
him
So if you
before,
haven't seen him before, it means he hides from you.
I'm gay?
How did we go from
Congratulations.
You're gay. How did we go from talking about Colombian politics to this? That quickly. God.
Can we put the community like a meme with the ha gay?
No, this is such an awful derailing
Sure.
of
Thank
what
you.
this podcast was.
This is what happens when you interject. okay?
Exactly. It's all your fault.
You're gonna have to cut this out.
You wanted jokes?
I don't know.
There you go.
It's all staying.
No, I wanted intellectual
You serious?
jokes. I didn't want you're gay jokes.
Well,
in the room.
look, you don't get to pick and choose here. You wanted jokes.
Or you can ask that.
Right now, yes, on the spot, sure.
What's happening in Sri Lanka?
That's kind
Good
of what I've been
question.
wanting to go into. I wanted to cover
The
Colombia.
same
and-
guys still in power, right? The same like group.
yeah, the same guys in power now. So basically, the whole economic shambles happened, and then they needed to pick someone to be the president, and they picked someone who has lost, I think, 2 elections in the past 10
Oh,
years.
jeez.
He's always wanted to be the top dog. He's never.
Top G, you
he's a
know?
new president now, but he's never actually contested an election and won in a fair election. He only won this because, okay, he's a familiar face, and they're gonna give that to him right now, just to steer the ship to normality. And afterwards, things are gonna change completely because he's still affiliated with the whole family that started this downfall of.
But how far away do you think normality is?
Sorry.
Like, to give context, so you said till normality he's going to be president. How far
Oh.
away is that?
Well, I mean, he's gonna be the president. I think it's 2024 when they have the next elections.
And
Okay.
how long has the previous presidential family been in power?
Well, they've been in power. I think they oversaw the whole civil war, which is I think like probably 10 years, 20 years
Mm-hmm.
of their life. It's basically
That's a
one guy
lot.
comes into power, and because it's a country divided by ethnicity, there's a majority who are Buddhists and they speak Sinhalese, and there's a minority who are Hindus and Christians. They speak Tamil.
Yeah.
Some of the minority.
I had a lot of like people from India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and
Yeah,
and
so-
I never
yeah.
understood where the word Tamil came from. I just heard a
Yeah.
lot of them say, "Oh, we're all Tamils, so speak that."
Yeah, we just speak the same language. So basically, when they got into power, they kind of promoted this Buddhist first propaganda. Obviously, the people loved it because they're going to get jobs for their people.
Yeah.
And this precipitated into this sort of ideology where they're trying to make Sinhalese the only language in the world, only language in Sri Lanka.
Hmm.
Make Buddhist like the top dog.
Wait,
religions.
what language again? Sorry.
Sinhalese is basically the majority that they speak.
Yeah.
The majority speak Sinhalese.
Okay.
So he's done all this, and then the way he's brought his family into it was he's given his brother the position of defense minister, and then his son is the chief minister, and then all of this. But he just brings all his family into the government. Basically,
It feels like, France back in the day, Russia right now.
no.
Yeah.
So the new president is not part of the same family, but he was affiliated to them back in the day when they were in the same party
But the
together.
ministers still all somehow involved or affiliated.
Do you want a mic?
So the
Can we
thing
get
is-
her a mic?
He wants a
we
mic.
can
The
we
issue
can
is-
hear her.
Can you hear her?
I'll wait for my episode later.
Yeah, you'll get that. You'll get that.
No,
But
but we
if you
can,
want to say
yeah.
something and you want to the mic, I can put
We
it
can
towards you.
mostly hear what she's saying, I think.
Okay.
I find it kind of crazy, there's all these like white like people, like, oh, I'm a Buddhist, like I just believe in peace. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you look at like Sri Lanka or Myanmar, where it's like Buddhists persecuting other people.
No, but obviously that's a form of extremism.
Of course.
That appears in every religion.
So every religion, is
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
same.
it's
So they're
insane.
like, oh no, Buddhism's are specifically peaceful.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, basically. But then it's kind of hard to get rid of this family influence in the country because they've brought so many of these younger guys, or this sort of like not minorities, but like people who are in the lower level. They brought them up into the government,
Mhm.
and now they don't want to get rid of the main guy because they're so closely affiliated with the family itself that if they get out of power, then they lose their position in the government. So the local ministers
Yeah.
and everywhere, they support the main guy, but now that is kicked out. They're still like keeping him plain somewhat by following his sort of ideologies and people around him. But if they sort of, get rid of them in their mind, I think they lose their position in the government itself. So I think that's why it's gonna be so hard to get rid of the family or the family influence.
Yeah.
Okay? And like, if they go back to the country right now, I think the ex-president, he fled the country to Singapore because, all these ministers' houses were burnt.
Jesus.
So that's sort of
good.
the reaction that it incited from all these people. And it's just like, it's going to take a long, long, long time to get back.
Are there going to be elections soon?
Yeah, the election's in 2024, I think.
Wait,
So that's a long time away.
but can I ask, like, so in my case in Russia, something similar of, it's not a family, but like, there's Putin and everyone who believes in him.
Mm.
Yeah, we know. But the thing is, after Putin, I don't know who's next. Do you
Yeah.
know who would be next after?
No, it's going to be someone completely unknown. I think the next way to go forward is to bring in economists who understand politics as well. Because there's been too long.
I see what my man is looking for.
Someone with a
Okay.
foreign degree.
The president of Sri Lanka.
There's too many people who just love politics and get into politics for the money, but they don't know how the economy works per se. So they do dumb rules like we're gonna ban pesticides. So that's what the ex-government did, and that's where they lost a lot of money. Where they just banned pesticides. They wanted to get ahead of the curve and be the first country in the world that grows organic food, which is obviously completely stupid because overnight farmers are not allowed to use pesticides, so the yield of crops just fall.
Yeah.
Which means people can't eat rice, which is like the main staple food of Sri Lanka. So the price of rice increases, and then they've got to import rice, which is grown for centuries, and they're just sort of importing things that they usually grow in the country. And then all of a sudden, all these issues just like culminated into a severe economic downturn, and it's going to be a long time to come back.
Come on.
So, Tivian, do you think that the Sri Lankan people are ready for change? Have they?
Have they what?
I think the first part's good.
Okay.
For change. 3, 2, 1.
So, Tivian, are the Sri Lankan people ready for change?
You know what? They are ready for change, actually, because whenever the family's messed up before, it's never really affected the majority. It's always
Yeah.
been targeted towards minorities. And so finally, it's something that's affected the whole country. And it was quite of an appealing moment for me as well, because I've never seen the majority hate this family before as much as I've seen it now. And just see the sort of hatred as well in terms of like walking through the Parliament House, burning people's houses. That's an extremist level you can't come back from. So I don't think they have a place in Sri Lankan politics ever again.
Okay.
Probably
Is then
the,
like the whole family or
I
the
think the whole
people
family.
here? Like the surname will be hated forever, or
I think the surname would be not hated forever, but I think people remember it for
excluded?
the longest time. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
for years to come. they'll
Like
never-
not led into power.
Yeah, they'll never be let into power. And I think the guy Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who was the president recently, he can't even go into the US because he's got indictments and lawsuits against him there.
Oh.
So once he lands there, he's just going to be in trouble again. The only place he can realistically
Or is
go-
it indictments and lawsuits from the US government
From the-
or from the Sri Lankan government, and
From-
he can be extradited?
from individuals in the US. So he can't be extradited because of that. But once he loses his political power, his presidential status,
Mhm.
there's nothing stopping him from getting indicted.
And there is nothing to kind of what's the word, protect the previous.
No, but he's still protected at this point. Like the army is still majority of the army supports them because again that family won the civil war and their
Mhm.
efforts won the civil war. So the army, yeah, there's like changing opinions obviously as time goes, but I think majority of the army still supports him, and so they're still a protected family in Sri Lanka. But
Yeah.
I don't think generations to come, I don't think the family will have to say in politics.
Fair enough.
And it'll be hard to see if they do. It's so you've got this far, you've progressed so far, and why would you change it back for normality once again? It doesn't make sense. So if that does happen, then I think Sri Lanka is true.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
But like with your economics background, would you try to get into anything around that, or are you just doing that to keep yourself healthy, wealthy, and
Yeah.
happy?
I think so. I think I wouldn't want to go back to Sri Lanka after I finish university because
Mhm.
I don't know.
But
it might
maybe
be
in a
bit
few
selfish.
years.
It might be a bit selfish of me because I think my opportunities lie elsewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in a privileged situation where I can say that. I'm pretty privileged to get to this point where I'm in the UK studying. Because most people don't have that sort of
Of course.
money, financial standards, or like a socioeconomic standards where this most people have to take care of the family and things. And I'm in a position where my dad is able to take care of the entire family by himself because of the money he earns. And that's something that most Sri Lankans who earn in Sri Lanka don't have the opportunity. So they can't really get out of the country and say, I'm going to stay here and never go back. That's not an opportunity. And even if when I grow up and get a job and earn whatever I earn, I don't really have people to support, which
Yeah.
is something that my dad had to do. And
Of course, yeah.
And I think it's a very Asian culture as well, where you take care of the elders. I think in like there's a lot of like, how do you say, a community in sort of like an Asian family where so in the UK, I think most guys who work or most people who study here, they get a loan from the government, and that's something that you don't get from Sri Lanka. So it's a sort of opportunities where like you either study in Sri Lanka for free or you go for an international institution that sort of gets you out of the country in the future and then you never return. So it's one or the other in extremes, and I'm glad to be on the side. To be fair, I think that's my opportunity.
Do you feel like you're an outsider in all of this, or like, well, you're emotionally invested? I get that, but
Yeah.
like, because you're here,
Yeah.
do you feel like, yes, you hear about this, yes, you know about this from family and family members who are still there, but like, technically yourself, you're not invested in this, and you look at it as a bystander?
I think
know.
part of me looks at it as a bystander. I think the fact that I don't need to go back
Yeah.
makes me look at it as a bystander. But I did return to Sri Lanka in May when the situation was at its peak.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see the country in that sort of dire state was kind of sad, to be honest. You know, the country you've grown up in as well. All of a sudden, everything's going to crap where, you know, students in state schools can't have exams because they don't have enough paper in the country, because they can't print paper, because they don't have money.
Jeez.
And that's the sort of level it's at. And like there's queues and queues of like kilometers of lines for petrol, which is like an essential. And then there's no taxis on the road, there's no cars on the road, just
Mhm.
barren land at that point. And that was the point I thought, okay, this
That's
is
gotta be
way
a
worse
shock.
than I thought. It was kind of a shock. It was really a shock. Yeah.
Has it digressed since? Did you
Yeah.
grow up there?
Yeah, I did grow up there my whole life, and it's
So did
digressed
it-
so far. It's gotten much better because obviously because they're completely loaned out by Sri Lanka. I mean China, sorry.
Yeah.
So most of their funding comes from China and other countries.
But what does China get out of it? Like I know in Africa they get the mineral resource and
Yeah.
everything like that.
So they've got this program where they fund developing countries in terms of their road and development, in terms of
Mhm.
infrastructure. And China's invested so much money into it. And the Rajapaksa family is very involved, where they happily just accept these loans at obscene amount of interest rates because it kind of funds this sort of infrastructure development, which induces foreign investment from other countries. But at a point in time, because of these shitty conditions that they put, such as like, you know, the ban on pesticides, they don't have enough money to pay back these interest loans. So once after a certain point, there's a default on the loan itself. So the government actually funded from China building a completely new airport in the southern of Sri Lanka, which seemed kind of like it was like a boost of optimism at the time because okay, you're expanding, there's more people going to come into the country. But that I think that airport is right now known the emptiest airport in the world at this point, where they just store cargo that they don't have left to where it would go. That's at this point, and the
I
main
can point
port,
out a couple in
the
Russia,
Hambantota
but just like
port
that.
in China, in Sri Lanka, which is basically just given to China at this point because they funded building it. Now they can't pay back the interest rate. So the government basically pays back China for over 99 years. So they have no return from it
Yeah.
at this point. So it's a sort of like ideology from China where they sort of get these countries in the debt trap. Whether I'm not going to say if it's through if it's intended or not. Of course, it's not intended at the point because I think they'd like their money back. But they also this gives them that advantage where it gives
Yeah.
them sort of focal points in specific areas of the world where they get a lot of leverage against their main players like the US and Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Fair enough.
I think developing countries. But, yeah.
Well,
Isn't it? It's an extension of the Cold War. I mean, it's just a new Cold War where
yeah.
There's new players, and there is
new. I mean, they're old players. You know, there's still the U.S.
yeah.
and
There's
there's
still
and
the
Russia.
US, yeah.
China, right? Russia. I feel like economically, Russia's influence is limited. It's more military. Right?
Yeah.
But then
Definitely.
again, like, yes, it's limited, but man, how they control EU right now with oil and gas
That's
That's
true.
is a different
It's really
game.
highlighted this.
Yeah.
But that's
In the
what's
first hundred,
changed.
sorry, just a quick fact. First 100 days of war that with Ukraine, Russia collected $100 billion in oil and gas.
But what? How does that change from what they were getting before?
Fuck knows, but like
They were
the
able
thing
to
is,
have
the thing
gas
is,
once
yeah,
once Europe had rejected
yeah,
their offers, they were
that
able to get more from China.
that and the fact that like they pretty much, well, no, actually no, they got fucked on the deals recently. They were trying to get oil for $60 a barrel, and I think it went down to 44.
Yeah, they've fallen.
But like otherwise, to get like when you start a war and everyone declares sanctions on you, the main fact of they got $100 billion of dollars is still like, thing is, Russian gold reserve has depleted so much and it's got stolen so much from that 100 billion is at a big amount of money in my own head because like I know the facts that it's fucked.
But yeah,
Hmm.
war is expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting. Like, I remember Trump, and someone was sort of talking about this recently, remembering Trump when he was back in power in I think 2015 or 2016.
He came back. He came into power after 16. think his inauguration was January 17th.
Was it 17?
Yeah,
shit, you're right. You're right.
21, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. It
2
was,
years.
yeah, 20. Yeah.
17, yeah.
Either that or maybe it was during his election. I
He
can't
got
remember.
elected November 16th,
Mm.
and then inauguration was in January 17th.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, when Trump was in power, he was saying that Germany is overly dependent on Russian petrol.
Yeah.
And that they need to change that, and Russia's too much leverage. And he was laughed at. People were like, "Well,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Like, this is
Mhm.
ridiculous." And now we look back, and it's
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's a hugely beneficial strategic tool. Is we control your energy supply.
But I guess in a way now that
It'll be a huge losing point for Russia.
yeah, it's been a huge losing point in the last time round.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to get £60 a barrel and
Yeah.
you sell what 3/4 of the price in the end, like I'm sorry, but that's not.
Yeah, they've implemented a price cap on Russian oil.
Yeah, exactly. They
Oil and
implemented
gas.
something, and then Russia said 60, and I don't know if it was above the price cap or not, but
Mm.
still.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Let's wrap up.
let's wrap up.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got a dinner to get to.
Mhm.
Wait, both of you?
Yeah, both of us.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
they're going to
I thought it was just you.
No.
No, no.
All right. Well,
We go over it together.
guys, it's been a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Shame we
You're
couldn't
more than
stay
welcome
longer.
to come back on whenever.
Of course,
You're in the country
London, yeah,
always.
that's true.
I'm
You're
not welcome at all.
yeah. You're welcome when you're back in the country. In
Obviously.
July. Maybe if she wants you as a co-host,
Also,
But
I'd
yeah.
love to. I'd love to. It's been a pleasure, chaps.
Thank you.
You British lad.
Like,
Yeah, I'm back in England now, mate.
mate. Like, subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys. See you next
and
time
Merry
around.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas.
and well, Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
See you next year.
Yes.